it and get it started.
You get the f out.
There's a number of things that I think about every morning that get me excited about being a part of this job. And plus, I just love what the hell I do. I have to address that. Between me and them, that's all you need to know. Every day, I'm living my dream. If you want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Shout out to Gator for the new intro. Ladies and gentlemen, another reminder that if you lock in your ticket today, it's $18 for a raffle ticket included, plus a free Friday branded beer, one free Gangrene T-shot, and what will be just an awesome night at T-Squared Social in New York City. A bunch of Asmaniacs that regularly call the show will be there. We got awesome raffle prizes like this framed and signed Breece Hall jersey, 2 tickets to Jets-Panthers, signed Corbett jersey, signed Aaron Glenn jersey, and stay tuned for more surprises at the actual event. With that said, let's talk all things New York Jets, and let's say hello right now to a fellow Jets content creator, DKB. DK, welcome to the show, my man. Big fan of your work. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Appreciate it. Always great to have some legends in the community recognize, the smaller guys.
Well, we got a lot to talk about, so a great day to have you on. Let's just kind of start with your overall feel on where this team is at going into the game Saturday. 2 joint practices in the books. Jets do not practice today. They have a walkthrough tomorrow, so the next time we hear from any player or the head coach is not going to be until after this game Saturday night. So break down the state of the Jets right now. What are your thoughts on how this week has gone?
Yeah, I'm really excited. So for one of the most important things I want to look at over the course of the entire offseason with Justin Fields was how he handles pressure, right? Because I know a lot of our expectations are he's not that advanced as a passer. And so you assume the greats break down when they're facing a ferocious pass rush. You'd expect it to look even worse for Justin Fields. But it seems like for the most part, a lot of the reports were really positive. I like watching a lot of what Robbie Sabo and Zach Rosenblatt point out because I think they're a little bit more critical of things and give you a better idea of kind of what's occurring. And a lot of what they reported was a lot of on-time throws. The accuracy seemed like it was a little bit better from prior practices. So really excited about the course of how our offensive line and Justin Fields have been able to respond to the Giants, who arguably has the best offensive line this year on paper.
So your thoughts looking at the state of this team now going into Saturday. Glenn would not say yesterday how long the starters will play, if they will even play, but I think we all have a pretty good feel for the fact that they're going to be out there in some capacity. What are your thoughts on this game Saturday? How long do you personally expect the Jets starters to be out there against the Giants?
Yeah, so I know against the Packers, when I was chatting with Boyd Green about it, I was saying somewhere between 1 and 3 series would probably make sense, depending on level, intensity, etc. I would say we're probably looking at 2 series here, right? I think it's highly dependent on how the offense goes out there and performs again. If they can score a touchdown, maybe they pull the plug early. Defensively, I know we have some pieces coming back, some pieces going out. So I think generally you're probably looking at about 2 series apiece for the starters. And then you start taking a heavy look at the depth players again and trying to iron out some of those competitions.
It's going to be interesting to me just what they're specifically trying to do offensively. We know that they've had success all summer, seemingly running the ball. I really would love to see some downfield passing in this game. Would love to see a big Fields to Garrett Wilson completion at some point. It just feels like the timing with those two is not where we all want it to be. And it's still early, and I think it will get there. But that, to me, is what I personally would love to see. Your thoughts on the passing attack on Saturday?
Yeah, I would say it seems like there's a distinction, right? When we look at practice, when we see the clips, when we hear the reports, you hear a lot of the ability to go out there and attack the deep parts, the intermediate parts of the field with Garrett Wilson, guys like Arian Smith, for example, out there. So I think it's happening. With the Packers, much like what Aaron Glenn pointed out, when you go back and see a lot of the players were playing with a ton of depth, trying to nullify the fact that we can attack deep. So I think with Justin Fields now, he's approaching things. It's really just going to be dependent on what the defense is giving him. And he's not necessarily going to force the issue as if he was in a regular season game and they're targeting certain times to take his shots. But I'm in the same boat. I'd love to see them dial some stuff up. Garrett Wilson walking off with only one target wouldn't have been on my bucket list of a Packers game, for example. But we have Mason Taylor returning. So there's going to be a lot more threats to try to open up things this game.
Mason Taylor being out there, I think, is a great thing that you mentioned, because it doesn't feel like he has any limitations, right? I mean, high ankle sprain, he's out there 8 days later. He's making unbelievable catches that the Jets themselves are reposting on social media. What are your expectations, not even just in this game, assuming he plays, but have you bought into some of the hype that we're hearing around Taylor?
Yeah, I'm fully bought in, right? I think he has all the makings for sure of a number one tight end, which there's a lot of different ways to look at that. But I mean, just in the most simplest form, he's a guy that can go out there, pass block, run block. He can catch the ball, and he's going to be a red zone threat for you. And it's probably something we really haven't seen for many of us Jets fans since Dustin Keller, maybe. So he kind of has the makings of someone in that same mold, and he feels like he can reset the record books based on what's been happening in practice. And I know we haven't been a team that's historically been great defending tight ends, but Quincy Williams and Jamin Sherwood have kind of been able to address a lot of those particular issues. So really excited about him being able to go out there and make plays. And I feel like almost every practice he's scoring a touchdown, which can't be just lightly swept under the rug.
Let's be real. They kind of need him to be a real player for them, because the depth behind him, not great.
Yeah, I'm actually one that doesn't think we'll see Jeremy Ruckert stay on the team potentially this preseason, especially if Andrew Beck keeps doing what he was doing against the Packers.
I mean, Andrew Beck kind of feels like he is tight end too, even though he's a fullback, because he has a lot of experience at both spots. So I don't think it's crazy, right? If they're just looking for like a true blocking tight end so they could have either 12 or 13 personnel and a lot of looks with how often we think they want to run the ball, is it that hard to find someone that could block that gets released on waivers, before the year? Like, Ruckert doesn't offer enough as a receiver that I think you're definitely keeping him. So I don't think you're off base with that. I think he's fighting for a spot.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think Stone Smart was coming in with better receiving numbers than Jeremy Ruckert. So it doesn't speak great to the value he's going to offer there. And to be honest, it feels like he's one of the odd men out in terms of fitting this aggressive mentality that Aaron Glenn's creating on both sides of the ball, which is sad because he does offer a lot of athleticism. He does offer a lot of physical attributes that you really like to see get developed up. But at this point, you could probably throw him in the same vein as like Zach Kuntz, as a guy that just hasn't been able to take the coaching and get things figured out.
Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Jets content creator DKB making his debut on the show. Everyone go and subscribe to his channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit that red subscribe button on the right-hand side. As always, we're presented today by my friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. You could bet on the Jets and the Giants. Jets are 3.5-point underdogs at FanDuel currently. So if you like the Jets and Glenn having them ready to roll on Saturday, you could take the Jets and any other bet you want over at FanDuel. Today's raffle giveaway is a big-time giveaway. How about a signed Joe Klecko jersey with, how about this, the Hall of Fame inscription? Oh, didn't mean to do that. Meant to do this. The Hall of Fame inscription on the jersey. So Joe Klecko, Hall of Fame class 2023. That signed jersey could be yours at the end of the stream if you enter our daily raffle. And if you don't win, Monday you got a chance to win a signed Darrelle Revis jersey, a signed Nick Mango jersey, and a signed Wayne Corbett helmet. So gift memberships for your chance to win any of those prizes, including the daily prize at the end of the stream. As far as Justin Fields goes, DK, what are your expectations for him this season? What did you make of his first game, first drive last week in the preseason? Break down your feeling on the Jet quarterback for 2025.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a drastic change from what we saw with the Bears, for example. I think the Steelers tried to reel it in maybe a little bit more, and even more weird stuff going on with rumors that he wasn't able to target certain players and such, like just weird oddities over there. To be honest, I've kind of backed off my feeling of what AG proposed in terms of letting him play quarterback. And I think a lot of us just assumed that meant we're going to turn him into a classic pocket passer, and then he'll use his legs as a last resort. At this point, he could run for 2,000 yards. I'll be just as happy as if he cleared 4,000 through the air. And if it's getting us wins, I'm not necessarily mad about how it happens for us. I think we have seen some improvements just looking at what he's done from his early days with the Bears to us. But it does feel like he's still going to be using his legs a heavy amount. And that's just truth with how our weapons are set up, how he's still going to be getting acclimated to the scheme and everything. So I would say still expect a ton of usage out of his legs, expect a couple deep shots per game, which also will be a huge change from what we've seen under Hackett. And probably expect some standout performances here and there, whether it's on the positive or negative side, right? I can see some days where maybe he starts out, 1 of 7 or something crazy like that, but then ends up having a spectacular day on the ground. And we just kind of skate by and grind out some of those, 23-20 type games. So we'll see. But I think with what this staff has shown so far, they have a commitment to him. He's shown some progress over the course of camp, even if he's hit a few rough bumps. And overall, I think Engstrand kind of has a pulse on how to utilize him. We'll just see how much he takes to being able to execute the scheme well enough.
Phantom Green and White is the first listener to enter today's Asmaniac raffle. Hit the Jet chant. Rasta Dread says, put me in the raffle. Rasta, you just put yourself in the raffle for 2 with a $10 super chat. Supporting the channel. I think what feels the biggest question is obviously his ability to take a step forward as a passer, even if they're going to be a run-based offense, which makes sense, but also the coaching. Like, I was very impressed with what I saw from Tanner Engstrand in his first game as a play caller last week. Hopefully he's the real deal and we found the next great offensive mind, because if he's awesome in his job, you could design a real offense that features what Fields already does well. And obviously the personnel for the Jets lends itself to be a really effective running team. So if you have the coaching, I think you can win games with Justin Fields. I don't know if he's your franchise quarterback, but at least we could have a season where it doesn't feel like it's over after just 4 games.
Yeah, I don't. A lot of people are souring on if Justin Fields does turn back into more of this running style quarterback. But in a world where we've seen Tim Tebow go out there and win games with a great defense behind him and just the cast supporting what he's doing, you can make it work with Justin Fields.
Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Purchase your watch party ticket with the link in the description, and we'll see you Saturday at T Squared Social. Your thoughts on this defense, DKB? I think the defense is very underrated nationally. I look at Steve Wilkes being the coach and Glenn being a defensive guy, and just the talent that is still here. I think the defense will have a big-time bounce-back level season. Are you as optimistic as I am on the Jet defense? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still very high. I think it's going to look different because I think our coaching expertise is more built for the back end and the secondary specifically. But we still have all the pieces that we've loved and we were excited about in the front 7. Jermaine Johnson returning. The way he sounds gets me excited, even though we haven't seen him on the field. You still have Quinnen back there. Will McDonald's coming on really, really strong this training camp. So you have the pieces. I've seen some of the same articles you probably have with PFF, like not having Jamie and Quincy ranked in, their top 10 and having some of our guys fall off. But ultimately, this is a staff that seems like it's going to be able to make the most of the talent that it has available. And we should look like probably a top 12 defense.
I think that's fair because I do think Sauce Gardner is due for a big-time positive bounce-back year. Quinnen, Quincy, Sherwood another year, McDonald year 3, Jermaine being back, Carter being healthy. Stevens has had a really good camp. Like, you go through it, they have a lot of really good players on that side of the ball that I feel like nationally aren't being discussed.
Yeah, a lot of it, I think it's just souring, right? We picked up guys like Stevens last year, Cisco, who had down years, and we know it's a what have you done for me now lately kind of league. So you look at Sauce Gardner, Stevens, you look at Cisco in the secondary, Quinnen having a down year. Realistically, out of a lot of the starters on defense, Will McDonald, maybe Quincy and Jamian are like the up candidates, or stock up guys, if you will, and everybody else is looking to kind of return to that level of consistency. So I'm not upset at the national media. I mean, the Jets team has generally been a joke for a number of years now, so it's more of a prove it and then we'll believe it type deal. But for the teams that aren't looking at the tape, they're going to be rudely awakened. I would imagine much like the Packers were in their preseason game with just how much more aggressive we're going to be this year.
Which players, beyond some of the obvious ones we've mentioned, have piqued your interest the most this training camp so far?
Yeah, so Eric Watts was a guy that I really liked last year, and he's had a few standout camps in the last 2 to 3 weeks, which is going to be the most important, right? Pads being on and everything. But he was also one of our better run defenders out of the UDFAs and defensive line at large that we picked up last year. Jamin Davis is one that's been coming on. I know McCrary Ball is on the depth chart as a starter ahead of him, but he seems like he's not making the same kind of mistakes that McCrary Ball is making when it comes to the penalties. And as a former first rounder, he's exactly the kind of guy that you root for to be able to bounce back. He still offers the same athleticism and stuff that he had. And then in the back end, I've still been a huge fan of Tony Adams. I think he might end up losing that job to Malachi Moore, but he's still a fantastic depth piece, and someone that could make leaps and bounds over the course of the season as well for me. So I look at those three guys on the defense. Offensively, there's some intriguing guys there too, but I think we still need the preseason game to see those things shake out. So
do you think when it comes to Tony Adams and when it comes to the secondary with Cisco and Stevens and, of course, Malachi Moore, do you think the Jets secondary is better overall than it was last year? How would you compare?
Yeah, I mean, it's not drastically different, right? I think on paper, DJ Reed and Brandon Stevens, that's a clear downgrade. There's the potential for him to do better just because he's more of a physical match than what DJ Reed would have been, but he just played the position better. You can make the argument that Reed was better than Sauce last year in many categories when you look at it. But I think the totality of the talent that we brought in means that we should achieve higher heights than what we saw last year. So I'm definitely a stock-up guy on the secondary as a whole. And if anybody was going to be able to see leaps and bounds for a safety play, in addition to the cornerbacks, it's going to be this coaching staff that Aaron Glenn assembled with Dre Bly and Cliff Harris and the such back there. So
your thoughts on Aaron Glenn so far, DK? It's early. He's still in that honeymoon phase. Has he been impressive in your opinion? Just your overall thoughts on the coach halfway through, his first training camp on the job here.
Yeah, I think it's been thoroughly impressive, right? There's been very few missteps, if any. I think the only one that really comes to mind was maybe him overly downplaying Tyrod Taylor's injury. And I think there was a calculated risk there. Maybe they assumed he was going to respond to rehab a little bit better. And then when that didn't work, ultimately they realized they were going to have to go down the surgery route. But he's been extremely confident. I think his vision has been clear, it's been consistent over a number of repeated questions from the Jets media. And ultimately, the team Philly Foles bought in, right? When you can flip and turn around Garrett Wilson, when you still have Breece Hall speaking highly and feeling like he's bought into what's going to be the running scheme, when you have the offensive line looking as good as it's been in over a decade in pretty short order. And I know there's been a ton of holdover talent here, but there's a lot of things that could have worked against him. Having a new OC that's a rookie, having Steve Wilks, who's kind of had an up and down career depending on when and where you look. I think he's done a fantastic job from assembling the staff to working with Muji to even getting some early returns on the UDFA class that he picked up, the draft class as a whole. We can't forget a lot of these guys outside of the first 3 picks we were down on, or at least the national media was. And we've heard strong camps from a lot of these players. So at this point, I don't know if Aaron Glenn could do anything wrong other than maybe continuing to chastise the media. But other than that, I think it's all been in good fun. And, we'll see what happens once the losses start racking up and how he responds to some of those. But I think there's not a ton of question marks that are really out there just yet outside of that.
big shout out to listener Winston Grant, who just purchased 2 tickets for our watch party on Saturday for the Jets and the Giants. Winston, looking forward to seeing you there. Be like Winston and lock in your spot now, and I'll give you a shout out on the show in real time. Some super chats here that have come through the pipeline. This one is from Dixon, who says, are we getting the next best of the Jake Asman show? That is a Gator McCluskey question, Dixon. That is up to Gator to decide. Esmond checks in with an Asmaniac super chat, 23 months. Brother Jake, August 6, 2019, my son was born. This past August 11th, a new member of the Abad Valdez and Asmaniac family was born, Alina Marie. How about that, Esmond? Congratulations. Love that. Congrats to you and your family. Hope everyone's doing well, and keep us posted. That's awesome. Me now with a super chat. He cuts the line. Aaron Glenn is not only focusing on the defense. Yesterday, he was with the offense. He seems to be coaching every part, not just the defense. Some coaches say they're coaching every part, and it doesn't feel genuine, like with Saleh. He was a defensive guy. It felt that way. Glenn truly does feel like he has his influence in all 3 units, at least so far.
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. Every report that I saw was mentioning that Aaron Glenn and himself in the press conference as well was mainly with the offense, so much so to where he couldn't even answer some of the simple defensive questions. And I think that's a huge positive. Exactly to your point. It's been overstated that this is another defensive coach hiring. He's not going to have much of a hand in the offense. And I think he's showing that he can go out there and not just speak to the guys and say hello and wave in the meeting rooms, but he can go out there and dictate what he wants to happen on the offense. I think you see it in the training or the Proving Grounds video that the New York Jets team just released. And you've heard it from a ton of the players about how he's going over there and he's giving immediate feedback on what's happening in these reps or what's going on as they look to continue to install in-strings scheme here.
Ladies and gentlemen, another raffle entry has come through the pipeline. For those tuning in late, I think this is one of the best giveaways we've ever done for a daily giveaway. Signed Hall of Fame jersey by the great Joe Klecko. T-Town Jet enters the raffle for one. Thank you to T-Town. The big thing with Glenn, and you alluded to it, I don't mind how he is with the media because I think it's very authentic. I think that's him. You can't be combative, though, at when the losses start to pile up. You know what I mean? There's got to be a different tone because while we like it now, I know how this fan base will react. You're not going to want to hear Aaron Glenn be combative with a reporter after the Jets have a devastating loss. The narrative will be he cares more about the questions than he does losing. Like, you don't want to go down that road. It's why I think just big picture, getting off to a good start, having a signature win early. You got a great chance to do it week 1 with Aaron Rodgers coming to town. That to me would be huge for this regime and just keeping the team bought into what Glenn clearly is selling them that they are bought into right now.
Yeah, I think it's just Aaron Glenn, right? And it's part of I'm from the East Coast. It's just kind of a mentality thing where even if it's not meant to be that way, I think things can come off a bit aggressive, but ultimately, I think even when you look at the press conferences and there is a little bit of that back and forth where he's shutting down some of these comments for things he either has addressed already or he just doesn't want to invest a ton of time into. Everything is about the players, is about the development and the path for the team. And so it feels like if he sees anything straying away from that, that's when you normally see him shut things down. Again, the beat reporters are probably going to take their shots and some of these articles will be a bit vicious. When inevitably we do, I don't think we're going to go out here and see an undefeated team, right? So we'll see how he responds, but I honestly don't expect that there's going to be a ton of changes in response from him even after some of these losses. It'll more so defer back to we need to coach, we need to get it corrected, and that'll be the plan for next game.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about this? A 10 spot from Mike Dems, the first of its kind today. Hit it.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
Mike, now the leader in the clubhouse for a chance to win a signed Joe Klecko Hall of Fame inscription jersey at the end of the stream. Derek the Cop, The Jordo Show, Sushi Dave, Connor Long, Norm Go Jet Yourself, Ray Perez, James Caffiero, Cat Eat Food, Rick Hayen, Matthew Smith, all receiving channel memberships there from Mike Dems. Mike, good luck in the upcoming raffle. All right. Open phone lines for those of you who want to join the show and say hello to first-time guest on this program, DKB. Gator McCluskey with a great comment about DKB. He goes, DKBX is one of the smartest guys out here talking Jets. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, LFG, he drops early morning videos. They go into depth in the latest from our team. Tell you what, I'll make it easier for everyone in the chat right now. Here's the link to his channel so you guys could subscribe because I think DKB does a really good job. Mike Perez with a super chat. It's crazy what bad of an organization we've been through our history, yet we have so many good content creators. The world won't be ready once we start winning. Man, I don't know how you feel, DKB, but I've said this a lot on my show. Like, the Jets don't deserve how loyal the fan base is. Like, the fact that this fan base is still this passionate, there's 15 Jet YouTubers, maybe even more, that do really good content every day talking about this team, and they have the longest playoff drought in professional sports. It really is amazing when you take a step back and think about it.
Yeah, it's been insane. Not only do I know, like you, Boyd Green, a ton of others, they organize a bunch of these events to go out there and actually still show up and support the games. But I've watched a ton of content myself before even diving into this world. And I feel like sometimes we offer more creative or direct solutions to what's going on with the team than even the team has had in years past. So it's always great. And I feel like every day there's probably like a dozen more of us that pop up and try to start the journey. So definitely time to jump on the bandwagon now before Aaron Glenn starts turning us into a consistent winner.
Did we lose you there, DKB? Your mic might have been disconnected. Check 1, 2.
Am I good now?
I don't hear you. Do you hear me?
Hold on. Yeah, I can hear you. One sec.
Uh-oh. We'll get him back up and running. Also, ignore the link I posted in my effort to try and promote DKB. I clicked on the wrong YouTube channel, so I will find that and put the right one in. So,
can you hear me now?
Oh, you guys hear him, you're saying? Then why can't I hear myself? Hold on. We're having issues. I don't know what the problem is. Let's see. Testing. How about now, DKB? Do you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I still hear you. Can you hear me?
God. We tried a new browser today, and that's why I'm having some tech issues here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 22 seconds, play myself on Good Morning Football, and see if I can get this fixed in that time. Stand by.
I love the fact that you were loyal to the Good Morning Football brand. All these other guys, they're leaving.
Who are we talking about?
I don't want to name names, but Peter Schrager.
Now that we have that out of the way, who wins more games this year, Jets or Giants?
The Jets. Come on. Jets. And I'm a huge Kyle Brand fan. Team Kyle Brand, is that allowed?
Yeah, it's allowed. This is New York.
Breakfast and Kyle Brand. Is there anything better? Come on, people.
I love this guy.
Okay. Now, clearly, my camera was knocked to my laptop one. Let me switch that. God, I hate tech issues. Do you hear me, DKB?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
God,
me?
I can't hear. This is unreal.
No.
All right,
Okay.
hold on. I am going to do a quick reset here. So, DKB, let me play something so you don't have to talk by yourself. Stand by, people. Need about 30 seconds to figure out what the hell is happening here because this is an unmitigated disaster, and I hate everyone involved with how awful StreamYard is. Our first watch party of the year, the Jets and the Giants. We're headed back to T Squared Social, August 16th. It is a 7 p.m. kickoff. 6:30, the party will start. Tickets are just $18. It includes one Friday beer, one green tea shot, and a raffle ticket. We'll do a Jets merch and Jets ticket raffle at halftime of the game. When you get a ticket, you get 5 tickets in our weekly raffle whenever you do it. So lock in your spot. The more people that buy tickets, the more revenue we have to make the raffle at halftime as epic as possible. August 16th. Let's go, baby. Jets, Giants, Jets backups versus Jackson Dart. What's better than that? Testing 1, 2. Do you hear me, KB?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great.
Okay.
Now I can hear you. I guess people could hear me, but I couldn't hear them. I don't know. It's always something, man. We've tried everything. I actually have a new computer coming today. It actually arrived. We're switching things over from a laptop to a full-on desktop setup now. So I spent copious amounts of cash on this ahead of the season. So I'm hoping things tech-wise start to get a little better. Appreciate everyone bearing with us. Kyle Clifton's got a super chat here. He says, in for Klecko, the big man is dual. DKB is an excellent guest. I think we moved off DJ Reed at the right time. Things have to click, and we obviously need health, but the defense can be really good. I'm actually very confident in the defense returning to form. I think they can be a top 10 unit, if not better, injury withstanding. I am curious to see just how often they blitz, because I think, Kyle, we're going to see a lot more blitzing than anything we're used to. Safety blitzes, linebacker blitzes. So I'm very excited about what a Glenn Wilkes defense looks like, DKB. Give me your breakdown on some of the schemes and the blitzing and what you personally expect.
Yeah, I've been curious about this for a while because Steve Wilkes and Aaron Glenn, not necessarily cut from the same cloth, but they have the same mentality when it comes to blitzing. And we've seen and or heard Jamie Sherwood and Quincy Williams both having a significant role in being able to go out there and rush the passer, try to make a couple extra plays. And to be honest, that might be the only thing that's really missing. A few more takeaways, and or picking up a few more sacks to really set them apart as, top tier within their position group. But I think we know what the three essentially will look like. It'll be a combination of Quincy, Sherwood, and then it'll probably be someone like Andre Cisco, who we've seen sneak in there a bit as some of the top blitzers coming from the back seven.
Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. We're presented today by my friends at Circa. See the hat I'm wearing? I'll be in Vegas 1 week from today. I'm going to be there. Ultimate Contest weekend is upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're coming to Vegas next week, get ready to party. They got the cocktail party meet and greet included, the Stadium Swim open bar, all the football panels. Plus, I'll be doing the show from the Radio Row setup and signing up for the contest out there, the Circa Million Pro Football Contest and the Circa Survivor. $21 million in guaranteed prizes is on the line. And just in general, Circa is the greatest place to be. Largest indoor and outdoor sports book. So plan your trip to Vegas. Stay at Circa when you're there. It is truly sports fan heaven. And shout out to Derek and Mike Palm for making this weekend a reality coming up for all of us starting next week. All right. Got some super chats I want to continue to read as they come in. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We will get to your calls coming up, so load them up. Let's kind of get into one final discussion element for this game Saturday. Who do you believe, DKB, has the most to gain from a good performance in this game Saturday?
It's tough. I'm going to side with the Jets just because I'm game green through and through. Having a new regime, I think, will do a lot of that for you too. But on the flip side, we can't forget Dable and Scone over there. They are on the hot seat, right? This is pretty much the make or break year for them. They have to make something happen. And as far as I understand it so far, they haven't necessarily had the best training camp or OTAs. So if they win, it does go a long way to buying them some grace and not getting canned in season. But for the New York Jets, I just think it'll be more important for us. This is still a rebuild year, as much as Aaron Glenn has tried to stray away from that, but it'll do a lot of justice for us if we can start things off on the right foot and kind of open up at least the beginnings of a playoff window for us, hopefully going into year two.
I have posted the correct link for DKB now in the chat, so ignore the first one and look at the last two links that I posted in support a fellow Jet content creator, Jules. He is supporting us all. He has gifted not one, not two. How about a 5-spot of channel memberships?
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
If you hear your name, Jules made you a channel member, and he entered our Joe Klecko signed jersey raffle at the end of the show for 5 by gifting 5 memberships. Ernie, Sean, King Blaze, Mac, KOIX, Ruben Rivera, all receiving a gifted membership. Let's see. This comment I wanted to address is from Ricky, who says, we have a real coach. I think it's fair to expect more. If you believe the coaching is going to be superb, the talent is there for this team to win 9 or 10 games. I've said that from the beginning.
100%. Yeah, I think 8 wins should be the floor. If you believe that we at least have the talent to pull off the scheme, maybe there's ability to overachieve there. And I think that's where you get to 9 and 10 wins. But there's no reason why realistically we shouldn't be able to, I guess you can't break even anymore, but 9 and 7 should realistically be a target for us.
Yeah, I don't see why not. There's enough talent on this team for them to be able to do that. So I'm hopeful. I mean, the reason why not is Fields is not the guy that many think he can be in this scheme. Glenn's not as good of a coach as people are hyping him to be. Like, to me, or just catastrophic injuries, which could happen to any team. You're just hoping and praying that if they got the coach right, we could have a fun year and feel good about the infrastructure of the team going forward. That to me would be a win in year 1 for Glenn. We feel like we have a real coach that we could build with going forward.
Yeah, we'd have to significantly underperform in a multitude of areas in my mind to not walk away with a successful season. And that doesn't necessarily mean we have to have a winning record. It would be nice. But even just being competitive in every game would be a far cry from what we've seen under Robert Saleh. And I think those two would actually be a pretty good indicator of how to compare these two. We can't forget Robert Saleh went, what was it, 4-12 or something like that in his first year. Defense looked atrocious. Offense wasn't great. Got LaFleur fired. So I'm kind of comparing it against other similar scenarios we've been in with these defensive-minded head coaches. But we also kind of have a good track record of new DC to head coach guys coming in that actually have a successful year one. So we'll see how we pieces it together.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Hit the like button if you are just tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Before we get to your calls, let me talk to you all about ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is the go-to tool if you are looking to hire someone that is great for your business. Perhaps if you're looking to hire an Asmaniac, because we all know finding the right person to hire, it's tough. It can feel impossible. You get flooded with all the resumes, and you never get the right candidate you want with the exact skills or experience that you need. Not with ZipRecruiter. They're going to make it easy for you to discover great candidates and do it fast. You can try it for free right now. ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Their smart technology works for you. The moment you post a job, their matching system instantly begins showing you qualified candidates. So you're not wasting time sifting through the wrong resumes. And when you find people you like, you connect right away using ZipRecruiter's ready to send invite to apply message. It's a quick way to personally reach out and encourage them to apply sooner. So ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter help you find the needle in the haystack. 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at the exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Again, ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. I don't know how familiar you are with my show, DKB, but there's a guy that regularly calls in from what he calls the global studio headquarters. And yesterday, we believe he broke his bed. He wrote earlier, this is Beastbreaker, of course, I just did solid construction on my bed. Now it's 100% steel. So let's find out if any of this is true or it's another beast lie. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Beast, you there?
Give me a second. I just watch my one guy making some chicken. You know who I'm watching? BS Catering and Entertainment. Oh, I love this guy. This guy's awesome. Shake, shake, shake. That's right. Shake, shake, shake. We're gonna cook up that chicken. Oh yeah. You know what type
How's
of
the
chicken?
bed, Beast? Tell us about the bed. Is it real?
And as of 8 a.m. this morning, I found some steel in my garage. You want to talk about good, solid steel? Good.
I can't
solid
see it
steel.
because you live in a dark hole. So put some lights on.
Dark hole. Wow. Wow. You know, not everyone's an asshole these days, ain't they? Well, if I was that one guy, Andrew Dice Clay, I'd be going, really?
Well, I muted you because I don't care what Andrew Dice Clay said. I want to simply say to you, Beast, I do a show that's on video, so we need to be able to see what you're showing off. Understand?
Very smart.
Yes. All right. Now, what we need to see right now, Beast, is you to test out the bed that you claim once again that it is 100% solid steel. So move your mic that's not even plugged in because it serves no purpose. And let's see you do a Garrett Wilson catch so DKP can properly evaluate.
Now, I'm not gonna ruin my hair because I just took my shower nicely. Nah, we gotta do something a little different. Up to the line 3, up to the line 3. You better look at hey, 35, get ready, 3-18, set, ready, get ready, 3-18, set, yeah.
Looks like solid steel to me. Hey, spike the football.
Ow! That's how you do it.
All right. You survived your first beast call, DKB. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I love it. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Phantom Green and White with a super chat. I think our Jets will be scrappy / physical overachieving team that no one wants to play. 9-8, and I'll cry tears of joy. 9-8 would be just a feeling none of us know. I mean, it's been a decade. We haven't seen a winning season in a decade. It's crazy, man. 8 wins would be more than we've seen in a decade. So I do think 9-8 is possible, but I think it's more on the best case scenario. I don't know if you said you think the floor is 8, so I think you're a little more bullish than I am, but 9-8 is not impossible. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think, and it's more so on the basis that I strongly feel there's a couple games that we can steal. I think we'll improve a little bit in the AFC East division. But yeah, I mean, if you told me anywhere between like 6 to 8 is probably like the realm of truly realistic, chances for us, it will make a ton of sense to me. I just don't think it'll be a complete disaster, right? I think even the other 8, 9, 10 losses, whatever it looks like, there'll probably be situations ideally where we're going down to the wire and we just couldn't pull it off. Justin Fields couldn't make a miracle happen, something of that nature. But of course, we don't know, right? As far as I know, I'm still a fairly young Jets fan, right? I haven't actually seen great football a ton. Fitzmagic was probably the last great time. And then before that, it was Chad Pennington, and I was still pretty young. So
what about Sanchez? You don't remember the Rex years?
I do, but was Sanchez really ever like a great guy? I think he made the most of the talent that was around him, and Rex kind of saved him.
He was never a great quarterback, but those teams were good. I'm saying, like, we actually enjoyed, 4 road playoff wins in 2 years.
It was good football, but it was good football for what I love, which is great defense and like a strong rushing attack. Quarterback play, still don't really know what that should look like from a Jets perspective.
No, maybe one day. All right, one last call with DKB, and then he has to run. Ladies and gentlemen, we gave him an introduction to the show. Bobby call to top things off.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
Yes, Bob? Bob, you're on the air. Hello, Bob. Bob?
More audio?
Bob? We can't hear you, Bob. You're disappointing our guest, Bob. You're making me look bad, Bob. Bobby. We can't hear you. Bobby, we'll see you later.
Well, I'm getting really freaking pissed. I thought I saw Gary's pretty wife. I need to get some sleep. I'm Bobby.
Some are saying that might have been his best call in a while. Some are saying that. I'm not saying I am, but God. All right, DKB, you're the man. Appreciate you hopping on early. I know you're out on the West Coast, so awesome to get you on the show. Continued success, man. I mean, Gator was right. You know your stuff.
I appreciate the support. Getting the opportunity to jump onto the show. Keep growing, guys. Keep supporting it. Love seeing all the subs and stuff that were given today for them. It's a great show,
ladies and gentlemen. DKB. All right, you guys just saw what I was dealing with there. I had either Beast or Bobby to go to. This show is ending if people don't start calling in, because quite frankly, I don't know if I can handle more Beast today. All right, I'm worried about his steel bed. Is it real? Is it actually fixed? I don't know. Now, Bobby's giving me the flailing arms like he thinks he figured it out. So we'll try this one last time, and then hopefully more people will call in and actually want to talk about the New York Jets.
Well, I've grown to love my buddy Allen, but Southwest has to go. I threw him off my show. I'm Bobby.
We cannot hear you, Bob. You have what's called Mikey Midnight Syndrome, where we could see you, but we can't hear you. So I'm going to play you out the only way that seems fitting.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not going to touch anything, I promise.
All right, here's what we're going to do. You earn a raffle ticket for the rest of the show if you call in and keep the show going. We're playing for this at the end of the show today. A signed Hall of Fame inscription Joe Klecko jersey. Here we go. Back to your calls. Fly by Night is called in. What's up, Fly by Night? Long time no talk.
Hey, Jake, how you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, great. Loving the life, loving it. Love what I got to see on Saturday, man. It was a great game. I think that the biggest takeaway you could get from it was that, just like Glenn said, coaching. It's just different. The guys were playing hard from the second the whistle blew to even before it. I mean, we had an offsides, we had an encroachment before the game even started. And then that guy turns around to Pele and has a insane game. So, you saw him do what he had to do as a coach, tear into the guys actively. We haven't seen that since, what was the last time we saw a coach hold someone accountable? I don't even know if Rex did it.
No, I mean, it was good to see. And by the way, with Tufili or Telefe, where I'm still confused exactly what the proper pronunciation is, but he had a really good 2 days at the joint practice too. So they might have something here. He's not going to play like Aaron Donald every week, but if he's an average defensive tackle next to Quinnen, that's all they need with the rest of that D-line.
Exactly. That D-line is with Quinnen in it. I mean, they didn't have Quinnen in it this entire preseason game, and it looked like they didn't need him for this game at all. Even if it was first teams the whole time through, it felt like the defensive line without Quinnen was still pushing hard. They were filling their gaps. They didn't get out of line. I mean, the sack when Love ran forward, I mean, he could have taken off, but he got scared by the two defensive linemen just popping out of nowhere. And he's like, he could have ran for another 5, probably got the first down if he kept his calm. But these guys, they kept in their places. Their spaces were filled. And that was a good showing of discipline during the play by a lot of the people that I thought, have a higher chance of making the 53. Those 2 15 yards that we got back to back, I don't know if either of those guys really were guys I was looking at making the 53 roster to start with. And it's like, I mean, maybe cornerback 6, if they're going to keep 6, why would you? Anyways, I just think that we really had a good showing. The practices were good. I hope everything, I haven't heard about with Sauce Gardner, if his injury is that bad or anything, but
calf soreness, he's getting some more testing. See you week 1, Sauce. That's what I would do.
That's fine. Put him on wrapper. We don't need to see any more of him. His 2 pass breakups showed he's back in his A form. He's locked in. We can see it. He's locked in. That's all we need. And I just hope really that we get to see more in game of the development of Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson. I know they already have chemistry from time before, but that missed pass, it wasn't really. I hear a lot of people talking about it. I don't think it's as big a deal. It's one pass in one game, that first drive. Like,